I'm Kerry Fink, and it's time for Helping Seniors Updates. Today is Tuesday, and it is the 11th of May, and we have the privilege of sitting down with Helping Seniors President and Founder Joe Steckler, and we're going to be talking a little bit about staying connected. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing okay. I'm just thinking of something. I was thinking, you know, I finally got you to the point where you want to take over as the director of helping seniors, and I'm the chairman of this thing, and I think we're going to enjoy a working relationship that few people have when you work together and putting together a really top notch program like we got, Gary. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm wearing a real legend black shirt, and you're sitting there wearing a coat and a tie and a suit and everything else. And that's one of the advantages of being the elder chairman.
There you go.
You
It's all
know,
good.
and speaking of senior programs, everything we do, and we're going to talk a little bit today about a program we're doing in Palm Bay, Florida.
Yeah.
But if you get to the point in your life where you really can't have fun doing whatever you do, you better step back and take a look at what you're doing.
Right.
My wife and I love to eat out, but we don't go out to these fancy places that charge a couple $100 a night for a meal or something like that. I enjoy going to places like Panera's. I love their half and half soup and something like that. I love one of my favorite restaurants is Beef O'Brady's. There's a burger place where they got televisions all around the wall, and I enjoy a Coke. And I'm not. My wife likes her wine, but I got away from that wine years ago. I just don't like it anymore, Carrie. I don't know why, but I just like simple things, and I think that you and I in these programs for seniors, we're trying to keep them simple, and they're trying to keep them something that a senior and those that support us will understand what we're doing, why we're doing it,
Yep.
and how much we need their support.
Yeah. Yeah. As we've come through COVID and all these things, and now things are starting to open up, I was making the observation to someone earlier today that I said, now what we do helping seniors was tremendously important throughout COVID times. But now, as things are opening back up and people are exploring things to do and how they can improve their situation, besides, I guess I would just call it surviving COVID, that makes the work of helping seniors even more important. And as we come out of this period of isolation, Joe, I think that you coined it exactly right when you said this is really about helping people, and we've got to stay connected. It's just the heart
Well,
of the matter.
it's really important, and we came out. This pandemic thing was tough, but we didn't stop doing it. We kept doing what we were doing. Use Zoom like we're doing today. We still sent our letters out. We still did our newsletter. We still got the information out. We followed all the stuff. I was able to follow because I spent 4 months in rehab trying to get my knee fixed, and I'm not there yet, but I'll get there. I'll get there one of these days. I'll get up and stand on my legs, and they won't hurt. But
Right.
that's the day I'm looking forward to. But
Yes.
let's just stick with what you keep me from digressing. We'll be a lot better off with just focus. And but we have put together a program because we've been trying for several years to get the city of Palm Bay, Florida, to help us fund some of the work we do. And Palm Bay is either the first or second largest city in Brevard County, Florida, and Brevard's got over 600,000 people in it. And so it makes Palm Bay a city that, like we say, the county needs to support seniors, but so does the city of Palm Bay.
Yeah.
Because they got roughly 25,000 seniors down there, and it's important.
Yeah.
And what we do in this new program that you put together, and we both worked together to put it together. But I sort of thought about this thing, staying connected. And It's just briefly, you get a program where you get a couple of volunteers or 3 volunteers, how many ever you need, and you get a calling list, and you call those people because they want to be called. You're not calling them, pestering them, ringing their phone. You're calling them to maintain communications with them, to help them let theirs know there's somebody alive on the other end of that telephone that's willing to listen to them, not keep asking for this donation or that donation or how much can you give this time. Or, no, that's not what it is. It's simply to find out if they need help getting groceries or they need getting someplace, and we'll help them do it. But you put that as part of a whole program. We're focusing on this city to show those people down there that we are, through our information, our outreach programs, our television shows, our radio shows, our magazines, my writing in newspapers, the columns, all this stuff gets information. Because every time we go someplace and somebody's asking for grant money, the people sitting on boards will say, well, how do you get the word out? How do you tell people?
Yeah.
And most of them say, well, we don't do any advertising. We don't do this. We just depend on word of mouth.
Yeah.
Well, some things like Meals on Wheels is about the only program I know of that can go in word of mouth.
Yeah. I was thinking, Joe, as you're talking about this, there's a couple of things that are important. Number one, all these cities are creating programs because they know they need to respond to COVID and find ways to help people access that. We learned early on in the COVID world that if everybody would follow the correct CDC guidelines and procedures, we could keep our seniors alive. It wasn't a question of their physical safety anymore. It only became a question about, can they stay connected? Because isolation was quickly becoming the bigger problem in the COVID era than actually was the just keeping somebody safe. As long as they could stay away from being directly affected by it, we could keep folks safe. But this whole thing has created a whole culture now for a year where everybody has been so isolated and so apart. And the question is, who can you talk to? Where can you get information? It's kind of like that old thing that they like to say, if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a noise if nobody's around to hear it? And I guess that's our point, is if you have a great program that's designed to help people, maybe it's with their rent, maybe it's with a job opportunity, maybe it's just simply with their safety or things that are going on like that. But if people don't know that program exists, it's sort of like that tree falling in the woods when nobody's around to hear it. They're not going to benefit from it unless somebody knows. And Joe, that's why the communication aspect of this is so important. It's outbound, letting people know things are there, but then it's also what you're talking about, which is getting a dialogue going so that we can really help people on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, well, this Facebook show gets out, it'll go, we get people that put it on Twitter, and when they put it on all kinds of media outreach programs. But what's important is we never know where we're going to get a call from. Most of our work is done in Brevard County, Florida. But right now, and I had the lady call me back again today, and I have not managed to get the answer she wants. And she saw you and me doing a show months ago, and it involved a guardianship. I think I had Bill Johnson on the show. He's an elder law attorney. And this woman now is in a sort of seeing a battle come up with her siblings on the care of her mother. Mm-hmm. And she called me and asked how she could get the other people to see what she was trying to talk about, where she wasn't looking for a confrontation. Mm-hmm. Rather, she was looking for an amicable solution. But one of the family members didn't think the other family member should have contact with the mother. That's there are situations where that should probably happen, but generally speaking, no. And if they're monitored in an assisted living facility or something like that, um, I don't see any reason trying to cut anybody out. And if you do that, you end up going to a guardianship. You can spend $10, $15, $20,000. Well, that's a lot of money when it comes to care of people. So she called me back again today, and I haven't gotten the answer, but I will. I know where I can get the answer, I think, because what I first got I didn't like.
Yeah.
And so I will make another phone call. And for me, it's just making a phone call. But for this poor woman, it's trying to go to innumerable sources to try to figure out who has an answer for her that she is going to understand what it is that she can do, and that it might just possibly be a workable solution.
Right.
Now, we don't have all the answers, Kerry. Our organization doesn't. But generally speaking, we can get somebody pointed in the right direction. And that's what it's really all about. It's about listening. And that's what this program, Staying Connected, is. And that came about as a result of many years of knowing that seniors try to get their lives in an orderly progression so that they can move on to the next phase. And as they get older, we get older, I'm old. And as I get there, I want to make sure that my wife and I agree on what we want to do with our assets. And we agree with what we want to do with them. And we have put it in writing in a trust. And so we're not worried about where the stuff is going to go. We just want the kids to have memories of us that they can enjoy having, not something that's forced onto them as a matter of innumerable possessions. That's not it. And it's not seeing how much money of our assets they can each come up with. It's rather about how they want to remember their parents and their grandparents. And that's one of the things that this Staying Connected program does. It helps people maintain a sort of a sense of being in the real world, not isolated. And that's one of the worst things that came out of this pandemic.
Yeah.
By some of our actions, we actually isolated people to the point, Kerry, where they didn't know what to do. And that was one of the worst things that came out in the pandemic.
I was, when we were on the radio, I think it was last week, Kim Bernard, our education specialist, was there. And I remember discussing with her on the radio that one of the most surprising calls we started to get right after they told us, 30 days to stop the spread, everybody stay home, was she started getting calls from seniors who were concerned about how they would be able to feed their pets, because in the pandemic, if you're locked down, now you have your little dog or your little cat running around, and all of a sudden something that you wouldn't necessarily think of right off the bat comes front and center. But that's the whole point of this Stay Connected. And Kim went out and found that there are actually resources in the county that can supply that. And Joe, that's the point of what you're talking about.
Right.
You always talk about having an aging plan, and it's important to kind of try to view the road ahead and think about, well, what if that were to happen? We live in Florida, I like to say. We understand when they say you got to have a hurricane plan. What are you going to do? Hopefully the hurricane doesn't come here, but hopefully you have an idea. You've got your batteries, you got your water, you have an evacuation plan. You know what you're going to do if the power goes out, all those kind of things to keep yourself safe. And that's really, Joe, the point about the aging plan. You need to have a plan, and who better to help than somebody who's been down the road and understands some of the things you're going to encounter along the way.
Yeah. And even though we're just about at the point of the season annual cycles that we're going to be forced to watching the reporters standing in 2 inches of water with talking about the waves behind them, and we're going to hear that for hours on end, the fact remains that 2 inches of water can suddenly become 2 foot or 12 foot or 20 foot of water.
Right.
And you don't want to fool with it. I've spent half of my life at sea, or a third of my life at sea, and I know what water can do. I've seen it rip almost inch thick steel and break it, and that shows you the power of water. And you don't fool with it.
No.
And when you put yourself in isolation and you're battling the forces of nature, you are not in a good position. Really, you're not. Especially if you don't have a causeway you can get over.
Yeah.
But you know, we could talk about all this, and what we want to do. But Kerry, we have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that we pay for it is this car raffle. We've been doing this several years. I've been doing them about 30 years. I've had all kinds of ideas thrown at me about, well, here's what you can do. Here's how you make it better. Here's what kind of food you can serve. And here's what kind of cars you can use. And here's how you pay for them. Here's how you don't. The fact remains, we have to have people that are watching this show, listening to us, getting our letters. We have to have them make a donation for tickets for a chance to win the car. And I'd appreciate it if you tell them about all the other benefits that come about, because this is really important. And you can take it to the bank that somebody's going to win a car.
Yeah, this is the 5th annual Helping Seniors Car Raffle, Joe, because now here we are. We're in our 10th year of service to seniors in Brevard County. So already Helping Seniors has developed quite a legacy of making a difference in people's lives. But the car raffle is really the fun part, but it's also the necessary part, because it gives reasons for people to donate into the work of helping seniors. And no matter what happens, win a car, don't win a car, you're going to have a great time out at Mark Pylock's American Muscle Car Museum. The date is already set. It's Saturday, October 9th, 2021. I will say you don't have to be present to win, but boy, if you're in town, this is one place and one evening you don't want to miss. Mark generously opens up the museum. Your Helping Seniors raffle ticket is actually an admit one to the museum. And so you're going to enjoy a great night at the museum. Mark is always very generous. He provides the beer, the soda, the waters, everything like that. We always make sure we have some great things to nibble on out there. But the most important thing is just enjoying the evening out there with your family and friends, seeing those beautiful cars, and knowing that when Mark's wife reaches into that, I guess you call it it's not a fishbowl. I don't know what you call it.
Drum. It's a drum.
She reaches into that drum and she pulls out that winning ticket. And last year, Troy Darling of Indy Atlantic, that was the name she pulled out. And he's driving around in a new, for him, 2020 Chevrolet Camaro. And the year before, when Tatiana reached into that drum and pulled out a name, it was Karen Hoodless. And she's driving around in a 2019.
Was she the one who was standing right in front of me that won it?
She was.
Yeah, and she was standing right there in front of it.
And she just, people had to point at her, said, "That's you won." And so this is going to be, a great evening, and you're going to enjoy the night at the museum, but you're also going to find out if you're the winner of a 2021, because these are all brand new cars, this year's model, 2021 Chevrolet Camaro, 2021 Dodge Challenger, 2021 Mazda Miata convertible. That's that cool little sporty.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool car.
And
the Kia. Did you mention a Kia Sportage?
I was going to say, or the ultimately practical and stylish 2021 Kia Sportage, and it's your choice. So you have to decide which car you want to drive home when you're picked, when she reaches into that barrel and pulls out your winning ticket. But of course, if you're going to win it, you got to be in it. So you got to get your tickets.
And I already have a commitment from Beef O'Brady's that they're going to, Chad, the owner of Beef O'Brady's here in Satellite Beach, Florida, is going to be furnishing the wings again.
And that is a real treat for those of you that have been to one of the events in the past. Those are definitely worth showing up for right there. And it's easy to get your ticket, Joe. We have got pickup points. There's already over a dozen pickup points around the county now, where you can just walk in and get your tickets. All of AJ's dealerships have the tickets, so you could walk in to Boniface Hires Dodge and pick up a ticket there. Boniface Hires Chevrolet or any of the dealerships they're set up. A lot of the longtime friends of helping seniors, like Dr. Lee Sheldon's office, they've got tickets. Elder law attorney Bill Johnson's office has tickets. Hibiscus Court has tickets. Zon Beachside has tickets. Next Generation Realty, Debbie Fisher Beard, her office has tickets. So there's lots of places you can get them. If you prefer, you can just call Kim on the Helping Seniors info line. She'll get you set up with tickets. You just call 321-473-7770, 321-473-7770. She was talking about, there was a gentleman who called in and bought like 32 tickets because he wanted to be able to take his employees at work out to see the museum. So that's one way you can do it. And you can get
them directly. Before you talk so much and I forget what I'm going to trying to remember, can you put pictures of those 4 cars, attach them to this podcast we're doing today?
Absolutely.
And the thing that keep talking about, all these places to buy tickets, someplace on this thing lists the locations where they can buy the tickets.
Yes.
We haven't done that.
Yeah. So helpingseniors.carraffle.com. I was just going to hit that up because if you don't mind getting your tickets online, that's a fast, efficient, secure way to get your tickets. You get them, you order them. You don't have to stand in line the night of the event. You just have everything ready to go, and you're ready to come to the museum and ready to maybe even win that car. And so also on that site, you'll find all the information, lots of great videos, information about the cars, places you can go around town to pick up tickets, tell your friends to get tickets. And, Joe, one of the things I've seen happens a lot of times, people might come up to us at a car event or one of the car show appearances, and they'll buy a ticket or two. And then they'll find out they got to come back and get some more, because once they start telling their friends about it, they're like, hey, we want to come over there too. So it ends up being just a great night out for everybody, but you got to get your ticket to be in it to win it. HelpingSeniorsCarRaffle.com, Joe.
Yeah, well, bring all your friends you want to bring, because when they find out they got to have their own ticket in order to win the car. So, it may sound like a lot of hype about trying to extract your money, folks, but it isn't. It really isn't. Just think about what your donation can do. It can help us keep these types of programs going. It's important. So if we help a senior that is really down on their luck and maybe they don't have any food in their house. And I have talked to people like that have nothing left to eat. And it's bad. And, they're only a step away from being homeless. And how would you like to be homeless and not be well, where you hurt and your joints hurt, and mine do. And so I can imagine what these homeless people, some of them that are older, that sleep on the ground at night or in a doorway, and what they must feel like when they wake up. It can't be very pleasant. So, just in a small way, you're helping us help them, and we can make it better for all of us all the way around. So, I just want to thank Kerry for doing the thing today, and maybe we can reach some more people and get them to tell their friends.
Yeah, and we want you to not only get involved, help us in the car raffle, but quite frankly, as Joe was talking about, plan to get involved and stay connected. If you'd like, give Kim Bernard a call, 321-473-7770. And tell her that you'd like to be part of this program, and she'll take your information down. And we've got some meetings coming up. We've got some information that's going to be coming out about how the program works, but we need your help in all of it. Joe, we can't do it if we all come together. It's just a little bit for everybody to do. That's why somebody goes, well, what difference does my $25 ticket make for you? Well, it matters, because when a lot of people come together, that's how we keep this thing going.
Yeah, and just as a last reminder, and then you can sign out, Kerry, but for any retired social workers or nurses or people that were in a position where they really liked talking to people. Yeah. If you want to be a volunteer for us and do this from a list from your home, say if you had a list of 10 people maybe that you called on varying days of the week just to see how they're doing, just to hear a friendly voice. You want to do something like that, we could sure use your help and get that same thing by calling that 473-7770 number. You sign out, okay?
Yep, you said it just right. That number 321-473-7770. Thanks for joining us for helping seniors updates, and thank you, Joe, for being part of it today. And the best way to sum it up is give Kim a call and let's stay connected. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Kerry.